everyone, it's Holly here. Welcome to our newest episode of Sonoran Sky, our First Alert Weather Team's podcast episodes. And I'm excited for this one because we're talking about where you can go to start to see the leaves change colors here in our state. So here I have Josh Cunningham with me from the Arizona Office of Tourism. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it because you know all things leaves changing colors. And now that we are officially in fall, people in Phoenix might think, what are you talking about, right? We don't really see the seasons here, but there are many parts of our state that do. You're kind of the pro, the expert on where people can go, and they kind of have to go soon, maybe within the next couple of months. So why don't you tell me that time frame really that is best?
So first of all, I just want to say I do have the greatest job in the state, which is getting to talk about tourism, about visiting Arizona. And all these great places and cultures and people that you can experience in our state. So we're really lucky to have that. And so right now, of course, we're looking into fall colors. Like, where do you see fall colors? And the way that we think about it is mainly you think about September, mid-September to mid-October is going to be your highest elevations. That's where you should go to see the leaves changing first.
Okay.
And then from that mid-October to November, you're going to be in more of your mid-level elevations. So you might think of that as like the city of Flagstaff or the Mogollon Rim, or maybe even Payson would be kind of that the middle of the season. And then from November to early December, you're going to be talking about your lower elevations, or what we also call the high deserts. So that's going to be like southern Arizona. Aravaipa Canyon is another great southern Arizona place. So you really want to think about it in terms of elevation for the time of year to see the leaves change.
Okay. And so first I want to talk about maybe a spot that's very popular. Why don't we start with Flagstaff? A lot of us in Phoenix are used to Flagstaff anyway. And then we'll kind of get into maybe some different spots people may have not been to or have heard of. Flagstaff's a good one.
Sure. So Flagstaff is definitely kind of the epicenter of leaves changing in Arizona. And really, I think of it as the Flagstaff area because it's not just one part of Flagstaff. And one great way to access leaves changing in Flagstaff is to check out the Leafometer, which I'm sure you know about, right? And that was developed by Discover Flagstaff, which is their tourism organization. And what I love about the Leafometer is that it doesn't just tell you what color the leaves are going to be, but it allows you to select a destination in the Flagstaff area. So, you know, somebody may want to go see the golden leaves of like the aspens, but there's also a time to see orange leaves or dark red leaves. And so the Leafometer is more than just one indication. It really lets you choose different areas. And so it kind of helps you as a trip planning tool. So love the Leafometer as a way to determine a way to go Flagstaff. I mean, Flagstaff has a great arboretum as well. And so it's really, really a cool way to kind of plan. One thing that I like about the Flagstaff area is this really cool trail, and it's called the Peaks Trail, or the Around the Peaks Loop. And this is going to be 44 miles long.
Wow.
Now, this trail is for Jeeps, if you have a high clearance Jeep, or mountain biking type trail. And this one is going to take you through to see all types of views all around those San Francisco peaks in Flagstaff. And I like sharing this one because you can kind of take as much of it as you want. And you don't have to do the whole thing, but it gives you a great idea for the whole area. If you kind of want to challenge yourself, you can. Or if you just want to do some of it, you can do that as well.
Okay, so we have that option, and then we have the option where you can even go up to the Arizona Snow Bowl and get on the gondola, and they're now open for this fall for people to take those rides throughout the day. So that's a good one that might be a little, just easy for people. You just drive up to the Snow Bowl, and there you have it, get on the gondola.
For sure. Definitely seeing the Flagstaff area by the scenic gondola at Snow Bowl is really a great way to do it. So glad that that's open and that people can go do that right now. Another area in this part of the state is going to be kind of the Mogollon Rim larger area. And if you head to the eastern side of the state, you're going to get into the White Mountains, of course, which also
So
is a great area
Yes.
to see leaves changing. And we want to talk about the Pinetop Lakeside area
Yeah.
and Highway 260 that drives right through there. Now, this one's cool because you can see a lot of leaves changing from just taking this highway through.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily have to get out of your car, although you can, because there are lakes kind of along the sides of the road. Again, you would want to park in the parking lot and not stop on the side of the road to do that.
Sure.
But it's a great way to maybe have a picnic and see some leaves changing, maybe see it, reflecting off the waters of the lake.
Yeah.
So this one isn't a specific activity, but it's more of an area. And this one also is low cost because you can just drive through and just really see these colors. And if you feel compelled to stop, you definitely do it.
And if we're in Phoenix, that's, I would say, 3+ hours to get out toward, the Pinetop Lakeside area, Show Low, etc.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's a nice drive, and it can be easy because then you can just get out, maybe sit out on a park bench or, enjoy the scenery, or just keep driving and get to see those leaves change colors.
Yeah, it's really taking advantage of the mountainous areas of the state and knowing that there are all types of trees there and that they're going to change. And it really kind of gives you a different feel, even if you've been there before. It's a special time to go right now.
Yeah, and I remember first time being in Eastern Arizona, it is a completely different scenery than what it is in Phoenix. It feels like you're in a different state. So would suggest that at any time of the year, but I can't even imagine what that looks like. Okay, what's next? What's our next spot?
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down in elevation a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to head towards the Verde Valley, which is also a beautiful place of the state. And one of the most picturesque spots that you can visit is Red Rock Crossing, which is in Sedona. Okay, so
and we love Sedona already to begin with.
I just said Sedona. You should be sold already on it. But Red Rock Crossing is kind of a particularly special place in fall for a couple of reasons. So the first thing is you have Oak Creek, which runs right through this area, hence the name Red Rock Crossing, right? So you have your creek, and then you have these trees that are along the banks of it. So you have like sycamores, cottonwoods, willows, and they all change colors during this time of the year. And they don't all change at the same time. So you get some different colors along the river. And then above that, in the distance, you have Cathedral Rock. And that's one of course, Sedona's most well-known formations.
Yeah, beautiful.
And that is going to be that deep red color, what we've named in Arizona, Sedona red. Which we call it that all the time.
Yeah.
But so you really have now, of course, you should see this in person. But if you don't, there's lots of famous pictures of this. And a lot of those pictures are taken in the fall because those trees change. And it really just makes, for a beautiful picture and a great time. You can go out there with your family, with the kids, and just really enjoy kind of a serene place for reals.
And Sedona, just when you're driving there, in general, you get these insane scenic views. Add some yellow, vibrant red colors in the trees. We can't beat that. Okay, Sedona is a great location.
Sedona,
about 2 hours from the valley north.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we looking at next?
Next one is we're going to stay in the Verde Valley.
Okay.
And we're going to scoot across to go to Cottonwood.
Okay.
And Cottonwood has a beautiful place called Sycamore Creek. And there's a trail that runs next to that called the Parsons Trail. Okay. And now this one is more for people who like to hike.
Okay.
And the cool thing about this trail is that it starts off kind of on top of a canyon, and it goes down only about 200 feet, and then you're on Sycamore Creek, and the whole trail goes right along Sycamore Creek. For you. And so of course there's going to be a lot of trees to see changing that run right along that creek.
Pretty.
Now the jewel of this hike is you go for about 3.5 miles along the creek, and you get to a place called Parsons Spring. And Parsons Spring exactly is what it sounds like. It's a nice pool that you can go in and take a dip and cool off. And that also is a great place to do a day hike and to turn around maybe and come back. Because you will have seen a ton of great fall colors along there. And you just come back and you've had a great time. Now, if you're a little more adventurous, you can continue your hike and you can go into the Sycamore Canyon Wilderness area there. But this is kind of the day hike approach to it. So it's really fun, a beautiful area. And it's not It's not that well known about, really, which is another reason why I wanted to share it. And you just have to know that to get to this one, you're probably going to want, one of those higher clearance vehicles also to get to the trailhead.
Good to know. Yeah. And what about, you said it's a little over 3 miles.
Yeah.
Is this, an easy hike? Is it more for experienced hikers?
Right. So I would say it goes right between easy to medium.
Okay.
So it's not super hard. Mainly, when you start, you get from the canyon top to the creek bed, basically. Okay. That's probably going to be maybe the hard part of it, because then when you come back, you have to do it at the end also.
Yeah.
But it's not too strenuous.
Okay.
So I would say that's definitely a doable one.
I love that. And I think a lot of people like reward at the end, right? You can swim if you want.
Yep.
A little bit of a change of scenery.
I mean, I think giving yourself a reward is definitely a great way to hike if you can. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I love it. Okay. So we hit Flagstaff, Sedona, Cottonwood. Yep. Is there maybe one more that sticks out to you?
So in this area, let me tell you, there is one more, which is near Cottonwood also.
Okay.
And I got to give love to Arizona State Parks and Trails, because they have some great places for leaf peeping.
Amazing.
One in the Cottonwood area, perhaps one of the best, is going to be Dead Horse Ranch State Park.
Okay.
Now, that's right in the Cottonwood area. And Dead Horse Ranch State Park is well known for having a bunch of aspen trees that are in it. And they have a number of lagoons around the park.
Okay, very cool.
So you can walk around and you see these trees that run right along these lagoons. And so, of course, it gives you that view of not only these golden trees, but the reflecting in the water. So, maybe if you want to be inspired to paint or to take a picture or to relax.
Sure.
This is one of the best places to do that is Dead Horse Ranch State Park.
Okay, these are great suggestions, and I haven't heard of those last two, so I'm excited, learning so much from you. And I do want to touch on Southern Arizona because she is a hidden gem. So what about down there? Because we know the leaves can also change in Southern Arizona too, which might surprise some people, because I think you just think of Tucson when you think of Southern Arizona.
We certainly have to give love to Southern Arizona always. And one of the great places there is called Aravaipa Canyon.
Okay.
Now, that's going to be, it's generally in the Tucson area, but it's a little northeast of Tucson. So if you're familiar with Highway 77, Aravaipa Canyon is right off of Highway 77. And we really like this one because this is almost like a natural preserve area. So you have to get a permit to do this one.
Okay.
The permit only costs $5, so it's not crazy, and you can get it the same day also. But it's a natural area that was also carved out by Aravaipa Creek.
Okay.
And so with this one, you're gonna go in and you're gonna hike to Aravaipa Creek, and then once you get there, you can actually follow that creek for about 12 miles if you want. And this is kind of the one for people who want to feel like they're more isolated when they go out in nature.
Sure.
And you're going to see animals, you're going to see water, you're going to see pools, you're going to see little waterfalls even, and you're going to see a ton of trees changing as well.
Okay.
Now, you can do this one as a day hike.
Okay.
But I would recommend, and AOT would recommend, that maybe you get the permit to camp and maybe stay the night there once. And again, you have to bring your own stuff.
Sure.
But because if you do it in one day, you're really kind of almost running through it. And I feel like if you plan to spend the night, you can take a little more time with it, you know, and really enjoy the views in the area. And then you want to talk about a perfect dark sky place.
Oh, amazing.
I mean, there's no light around you at all. And so, the way the sky opens up above you when you are in a remote place is just spectacular. And so to me, and you don't even have to bring a telescope. Like, I mean, if you want to pack one, you can.
But it's
when
perfect,
when you're that remote, and you don't realize it so much when we're here in Phoenix of all the light that's coming out of the city. But I feel like you don't have to get out of the city even that far, really, just to reduce the light, and you see so much more. And so to me, this is another thing that makes this experience special is really the dark skies you get above Aravaipa.
So very secluded in this area. Might want to take a little bit more planning, especially if you do decide you want to stay the night. That's a great suggestion too. Again, that's down in Southern Arizona. And what about one more? Because I'm loving this, and I think a lot of people are going to want any suggestions they can get.
So The next one we're going to share is a little more accessible than the last one, okay? And so this one is going to be Mount Lemmon and the Santa Catalina Mountains.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people know about this place, but I like to share it as a leaf-changing place because Mount Lemmon is about 9,000 feet from the bottom to the top. And so what that means, of course, is that there are several different ecosystems that exist on that mountain by itself. And so for this reason, we call it one of Arizona's sky islands.
Okay.
And what that means is that there is flora and fauna, plants and animals that are on Mount Lemmon that can live on the top of it, but would not be able to live in the desert environment on the bottom.
Wow, okay.
And so we call that a sky island because they're living on an island.
Yeah.
It's just an island in a desert.
Sure.
But Mount Lemmon is a great place to see the leaves changing because of the temperature gradient from the top to the bottom. And so those leaves change at different times as you go up the mountain.
Very cool.
Now, of course, it's filled with, a lake, picnic areas, camping areas, even a ski resort at
People
the top
forget
of it.
that
Yeah.
is down there in southern
and of
Arizona.
course, a ton of great trees and leaves to see changing as well.
Okay.
And my last thing about Mount Lemmon is that Mount Lemmon also has a Catalina highway. And so for those people out there, myself included sometimes, who want to hike without getting out of your car,
okay.
you can take the
like
Catalina
glamping,
highway.
kind of.
You can drive this beautiful highway, which I've been on it, and you can see all of these different ecosystems, the leaves changing from the comfort of your car.
Amazing.
So if you want to keep your step counter at a nice 0, this is the way to do that.
Maybe you get your pumpkin spice latte before and
make
just
yourself
cruise.
real comfortable.
Well, I love that because you gave suggestions of things that can be a little bit easier, more accessible for people, or if they want to get out, hike, and explore nature too. A lot of good options there. You guys have some resources too on your own website. So where can people, find some more information from you guys?
So our website is visitarizona.com.
Okay.
And I love sharing that with Arizonans especially because Visit Arizona is not just for visitors, it's for residents too, to plan your hiking. And we have some great stories about places to see leaves and fall colors, even fall festivals, really anything you could think of doing in the state. Our website will give you an example of how to do that. And another important part of this and important part of hiking, whether you're doing it remotely or even something that you might consider easy, is that we have our Appreciate AZ principles and we have our Appreciate AZ website. And what that does is it encourages people to follow what we might call the rules when they're hiking or when they're enjoying the outdoors. So that can be, something as simple as trash your trash or respect wildlife or be careful with fire. And these are all things I feel like that people know, but they're not always on the front of their minds when they're out.
Yeah.
And it really gets at that idea that you can take some very small steps as one individual and like say you might have dropped something and you're like, oh, it's real small, I won't pick it. Not that you would ever do that. But
yes.
I'm just saying if somebody does that and they're like, what does one piece matter or one thing matter? Or going off the trail a little bit, what does that matter? But it's like, it's not just you. I mean, our state is super popular. One of the most popular things reasons that people come to Arizona is for outdoor activities. And so if it's you doing it, me doing it, and thousands of other people doing it, all of a sudden those small steps become a big impact. So those Appreciate AZ principles we also have on our website, which are good to keep in mind when you're going out and exploring.
Yeah, we all want to enjoy the state's beauty and nature, so we got to make sure we keep it all clean and nice and tidy. Thank you so much for being here. I loved this conversation with you. We're finally to that time of the year where the weather is cooling down. We have the month of October, even like you said, into November for people to get out and about. Anything you think we missed?
I think we really did a great job covering everything. My last message that I would say is that with the recent fires in the Grand Canyon, tourism has really been depressed throughout the Grand Canyon, even though they were just on the North Rim. And so if you're planning a trip, I would really recommend people taking a visit to the South Rim of the Grand Canyon or those surrounding communities, because they're really hurting right now because of the impacts of the fire, even though they didn't have a fire in the southern part. So when you're planning your trip, definitely consider visiting the Grand Canyon area.
Okay. Definitely. There's so many good spots across our state. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks everyone for joining us here on our Sonoran Sky Podcast. We'll see you next time.